Madam President, it's Thursday afternoon, and as you know, presiding at this time frequently, it's my favorite time of the week because I get to come down the Senate floor and talk about our Alaskan of the week. And this is somebody who's doing something great for our local communities, our state, maybe the country, maybe the world. I've been doing this for several years now, Madam President, and it really helps highlight what makes Alaska, in my view, the greatest state and the greatest country in the world. Yeah, I'd like to talk about, at the beginning of this speech, a little bit what's going on in Alaska. We've seen all the snowstorms across the country this week. Trust me, that's just another day in our state. I think by Christmas Eve this year in Anchorage, my hometown, we had close to 100 inches already of snow. So no worry about a white Christmas back home. So it's actually a really beautiful time of year. Great to get outdoors. I've done some skiing already. People are out snow machining. If you're watching on TV in the gallery, come on up to Alaska any time of the year. Winter, you can see the northern lights. Summer, you'll have a great time fishing, hunting, whatever you want to do. It is truly an incredible state. Year-round, we want people to visit, our great fellow Americans to come on up. You'll have a fantastic time. Now, it's not always the easiest place to live. It's far from the lower 48 here. The weather can be extreme, can be pretty harsh. As a result, the people in the communities bond a lot. They have to. They work together, particularly in some of our most remote communities. Now, every community, Madam President, in Alaska, in America, needs to be able to share reliable, credible information. Local journalism across this great nation of ours is vital. More vital probably in Alaska than any other state, I would say. And it isn't talked about nearly enough how vital that local journalism is. We all benefit all across the country from thousands of local reporters who are working on stories day in and day out, and that certainly is the case in Alaska. I believe that we should be saluting these frontline journalists, local journalists, for doing this important work, a lot more here. And what we're trying to do, Madam President, is do that today for one of the all-time best. Our local reporters in Alaska are so important, and so what I'd like to do today is introduce to the U.S. Senate and the American people a great Alaskan of the week, Maria Downey, longtime Anchorage journalist, news anchor, who for more than 40 years, Madam President, has brought Alaska's news directly to our homes and kept us informed about our state, our communities, our country, with professionalism, sincerity, kindness, and grace. So, let's talk about Maria Downey. Alaskan of the week, Maria Downey. She moved to Alaska from Florida with her husband Ron in 1981. Now, Madam President, 1981, a lot was going on in Alaska. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline, which, by the way, this body approved, was flowing. Our country needed energy. You just had the Arab oil embargo. So Alaska was booming. Almost 2 million barrels a day was flowing through taps, as we call it, in Alaska. That's unbelievable. Great for Alaska, great for America. We need energy. Maria said, boy, 1981, it was a great time to be a reporter because of the boom period. She said CNN or NBC, whatever the affiliates were at the time, would not hesitate to spend the money to send you places during that time. Now, for a little context, journalism in Alaska looks a little bit different than in other parts of the country. There's a lot of things in Alaska that look different from the lower 48. A reporter, for example, may have to take a charter plane hundreds of miles, several hundreds of miles, just to reach some of our state's most rural communities. Of course, they're always faced, not always, but usually faced with weather challenges. They're getting into the nitty-gritty of small-town politics. You might encounter some hungry wildlife even. But because of these challenges, that some of the best reporters arise from Alaska. An example, some of the National Public Radio's most famous reporters nationally have gotten their start in our great state. Peter Kenyon, Elizabeth Arnold, many others. The Anchorage Daily News, which has won Pulitzer Prizes, had the late, great Howard Weaver. These are big names in reporting. But, Madam President, I'm digressing because the biggest name, in my view, in journalism in Alaska is our Alaskan of the Week, Maria Downey, even bigger than some of the other names I just mentioned. And it's this kind of intrepid reporter that makes Alaska so special in terms of news broadcasts and makes our Alaskan of the Week so special. Maria started, as I mentioned, her journalistic career in 1981 on Channel 13 before moving to Channel 2 in 1985. At Channel 2, Maria quickly climbed the reporting ranks, going from co-anchoring to a full anchor in just 6 weeks. That is a shooting star in terms of journalism. As anchor, Maria realized how vital the role local news reporting played in reporting statewide news. Quote, when we go to a village in rural Alaska, she said, there's people meeting us at the airstrip when we get off the plane. So when you're there, you feel that connection with your fellow Alaskans throughout the whole state. While the national media, Madam President, can get a lot of negative attention, some earned, maybe some not earned, local media, especially in Alaska, is often the crucial link to rural communities who need that reporting for information, who need that reporting throughout the state, who need that reporting to bring us all together, especially in a state as big as Alaska. Maria said, quote, it's our community, the whole state. We're invested in it. It would be a disservice to do anything that's not honest and fair to our communities. What a great principle, by the way, Madam President, for a journalist. People see that, I'm continuing quoting Maria, that we're out and about working with them and that this too is our home. If you need evidence for how invested Maria truly has been and was in her job, you won't believe this story. In 1986, while on the air, live on Channel 2, she went into labor. She stayed on the air the whole time. Yes, that's a true story. Her longtime co-worker, news director John Tracy said, quote, she was as cool as a cucumber. You'd never know it was happening and she was in labor. I timed her contractions between commercials. It's amazing. Maria closed out her segment in labor by telling her husband on the air, Ron, meet me at the hospital. There you go. If that's not dedication to Alaska journalism, I don't know what is. So along with her own 2 children, Alaskans across the state have seen and viewed Maria as our, quote, TV mom. Again, that's the kind of personality that she brings to her job, the professionalism and the fact that people love her. As the Facebook congratulatory posts have flowed in the past week, when Maria announced her retirement after more than 40 years, Madam President, one post in particular stood out. A child from rural Alaska who every night would pray for all his family members and then say, God bless Maria Downey. Children across Alaska associate Maria with the close of the day, the Channel 2 evening news theme signaling dinner time every night in thousands and thousands of homes across our great state. Channel 2 is the biggest station, reaches pretty much the whole state. So, Madam President, as you're probably gathering here, Maria is about as close to a local celebrity as you can get, and her popularity is really, really well earned. Her co-workers, some of whom have worked with Maria for more than 20 years, never fail to describe her as kind, intrepid, and good-humored. Tracy Sinclair, by the way, another intrepid journalist and producer herself, who I know well, at Channel 2, remembers Maria bringing her meals when Tracy was fighting breast cancer. She'll tell you, and this is a quote from Tracy, Maria is absolutely the person you see on TV, the best. She could have done more than any other thing. She could have done many other things for more money, news director John Tracy said, but she just loved what she did. She earned every accolade. And Madam President, the accolades are now pouring in. And Maria is eager to pass her reporting expertise on to the next generation of Alaska's journalists. By the way, a true sign of a leader, developing the next generation to take over after you are completing your professional career. So, of course, Maria is Channel 2's internship coordinator, where she has mentored young journalists, many of whom now hold full-time positions in the newsroom and continue to work alongside their mentor, Maria Downey. Outside of the newsroom, Maria has devoted herself to serving the community that she reports on. No surprise there. For more than 25 years, Maria has led Channel 2's Muscular Dystrophy Association Labor Day Telethon, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars every year for MDA for Alaska. She was part of the committee that started what we call in Alaska Pick, Click, and Give. It's an initiative and a program that lets Alaskans easily donate to the charities of their choice when they are applying for their permanent fund dividend. This is a great initiative, and Maria has been critical to that success. For her journalistic career, Maria, as I mentioned, has been rightfully honored with awards throughout the years, throughout the decades, celebrating her exceptional reporting for Alaska. She is a Silver Circle inductee with the Northwest chapter of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, in honor recognizing individuals with 25 years or more in the industry for exceptional contributions to broadcast and media in the Pacific Northwest. She has also been recognized by Alaska's Athena Society, by the YWCA's Women of Achievement Awards, and was inducted into the Alaska Broadcasters Hall of Fame. When asked how she wants to be remembered from her 40-plus years in journalism, Maria said, working to make sure her community is a better place is what she focused on. Quote, looking at ways to help, donating time, talent, treasure, the old stewardship motto. Hopefully what we've done and what I've done throughout the years has helped to push people towards doing what's right for their community. What a great legacy. What a great legacy. She's not done. Now she's retiring, but fortunately Maria is going to stay in Anchorage. That's great news for all of us in Alaska. She's going to be spending more time with her husband and their 2 children, even though we won't be seeing her in our homes every night and letting us know what's happening in our community, in our state, in our country. We all hopefully will be seeing her around town. I'm sure we will. So on January 26th, after 38 years at Channel 2, Maria will anchor the Channel 2 News for the last time. So, all Alaskans, make sure you tune in. Americans, you want to watch one of the greatest newscasters in our country? The whole country should tune in. So, Maria, thank you for your exceptional service to Alaska, for being that woman behind the news all these many years. Thank you for keeping our communities connected, people informed about what's going on in Alaska, in America, and in our communities. And congratulations on maybe one of the biggest awards you have ever received up until this moment, being our Alaskan of the Week. Great job, Maria. Have a great retirement. I yield the floor.